If you're a real estate investor and you want to take your portfolio to the next level, download Lendlore down below. You get 3 months free premium access to the app. Hey guys, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Homefront Podcast. This is episode 26. I'm joined with my lovely co-host, Brooke Hicks.
Hello, hello.
And we're excited about this episode. Lots to talk about, lots of drama in the news, the economy,
drama.
Political drama, cool things about being a millennial, not so cool things about being a millennial, actually.
Yeah, nothing cool.
Nothing cool. Being a millennial sucks. Can't afford anything. Oh, man. All right, well, kind of good news for buyers. We're going to start here. So are we in a buyer's market in Ontario? So John Flynn, I think he's more in like the Niagara region, posts like some really good tweets. I made a tweet here. He goes, many real estate boards are deep in buyer's markets based off sales to new listings ratio for September. So the amount of homes that sell versus the new listings that are coming onto market. So when new listings come onto market and the sales aren't keeping up, inventory creeps up and it gives buyers more options. So when it's less than 40%, we're in a buyer's market. Sales to new listings, less than 40%. So Brantford's at 32%, Niagara's at 28%, Cambridge is at 37%, Guelph's at 32%, London and Kitchener-Waterloo are around 35%, Oakville, Milton at 32%, Grey Bruce and Woodstock, don't really know much about those markets, but they're 39% and 36% respectively.
Interesting, because I've been working in the Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo market lately.
You have been.
I know. And so, but my buyers are between 4 and 550.
Hotspot.
So it's the hotspot. It's the entry-level home. They're first-time buyers, and everything's in multiple offers. There was one last night that had 25 offers, listed at $399, probably went somewhere in the mid-fives would be my guess. I don't know yet. So anytime I enter Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo, I'm like, here's a bidding war.
Yeah.
So they must... and there's just not enough inventory at that price. So everything is maybe 6 and over. It's that middle market that is really being hurt, and the over $1 million for sure. But the cheaper houses are still flying off the shelf in multiple offers. Yeah. Really, I guess that's maybe the only market that you can get those houses for that price. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I kind of wrote this piece in our newsletter. It was like, the reality is sales aren't keeping up with new listings in many regions. So with a 3-year fixed mortgage rate being around 6.5%, you're stress tested at 8.5%, the numbers just aren't penciling for many would-be buyers. A $500,000 mortgage right now would cost you roughly $3,000 a month, not including your condo fees, taxes, internet, hydro, etc. Many realtors keep asking me, why am I not getting any showings? I hate to break it to a lot of people, but the juice isn't worth the squeeze right now. And with inflation remaining sticky, and no rate cuts in sight, we better buckle up. Do you think that my opinion piece is wrong? I always look at it like this, because so many realtors are like, I'm not getting showings. Why am I not getting showings? Yeah. And when you pencil the numbers, you know, $500,000 when the median price in Ontario is $850K, and you're at $3,000 already before you pay all these property taxes, before you put your 20% down. It doesn't add up, and it makes more sense for a lot of people to rent just for now. I know there's equity appreciation.
It makes more sense to rent, even me. So I'm like, okay, I like want to buy, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, if we factor in a 6% appreciation plus the mortgage cost monthly, it doesn't equal, like you're better off rent. It's cheaper to rent, even though rent is high. The appreciation you're losing by not buying isn't enough. Get it?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. So even people that maybe could buy, have the down payment or have the pre-approval, it makes more sense. It's still like the cost of living. If I'm going to pay $3,500 to lease a house, but $8,000 to own the same house, and that's only going up 6%, well, I've spent way more money making that 6% appreciation than just renting.
100%. Yeah. And when I say the juice isn't worth the squeeze, it's like, we're talking about a $500,000 mortgage. Like, what is that really going to get you? And this is where I'm of this mindset where if rates are staying higher for longer, if people are not moving as much and new listings keep creeping up versus sales, what has to change? Well, the prices of homes have to come down as many, maybe sellers who have gained enough equity. They're like, hey, I'm out anyway. It doesn't matter to me. I bought this for 100K, or people who are up for renewals, or people on variable rates who can't hang on anymore. It just makes sense that the sales won't creep up until prices start coming down. So I think that's what a lot of realtors need to get their heads around, is because we've been spoiled for so long. Why am I not getting any showings? Is because we're in a buyer's market and you're probably priced too high, or it's just going to take longer to sell.
Yeah, we're back to the normal contract terms of real estate.
Yeah.
Like, you sign a listing contract for 3 months. We're used to selling it in a week. And on month 3, it's like, oh my absolute God. But back up a couple years, 3 months is normal.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go back to that.
Conditions are normal. We're seeing, you know, especially in more rural areas, we're seeing condition to sale a home.
Lots.
Yeah, like that happens. Yeah, yeah. Like now, you know, you're spoiled for a long time. Now it's time to work hard. If you want.
Now you sell first. And then people even say like, hey, I got to sell first, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't want to sell and not know where I'm going. Then I'm going to have to settle. Like, you know, it's almost easier, way easier to buy first because you know where you're going, and then sell.
Yeah.
And then have a little room for, you know, error if it doesn't sell for what you're thinking. But
for sure, I would sell first.
Yeah.
Always
You
always
have to sell first.
Yeah.
Do not buy first.
Don't buy first, sell first. Yeah. Unless you've really ran your numbers conservatively and you really, really look at what's going on, or you get a very long close.
Yeah.
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 So.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that we're in a buyer's market, and we're going to continue, in my opinion, to be in a buyer's market going forward, at least for the next foreseeable future.
So the thing about the real estate market and the GTA in Canada is it's always changing, like week to week, because January of 2023, it was a buyer's market for sure.
Yeah.
It was buyers, and it was like ghost town. And then creep up to, what was it, March, April, things are like going back up, and then it's slowing down again. So we had that little upwards tick. So it could change if we do one decrease, even maybe gets people out, like something can happen.
Yeah. Even I think the 25 basis points not enough to move the needle. Like, I think we need like a full point decrease, which could take a couple of years. Expect rates, in my opinion, and I think TIFF, and they should do this, is rates should remain elevated until incomes make sense for the price of homes.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
No, I don't
think owning.
Well, at least it can't be 60 to 80% of your income going to housing. I think it's ridiculous.
I got an offer for lease on one of my leases in Oakville, and my landlord said, "Oh my gosh, his income is 50%. No, the rent is 50% of his income." I'm like, "That's good.
That's actually good.
That's
good. Yeah. It's sad to say, but it's good. Yeah.
So, I don't know if that'll happen though, because you look at when interest rates were this high in 2001, what the average income was and what the average house was compared to now. I think we're just way too far gone for it to ever go back to.
It'll take years and years, but I also think the direction that Canada is heading, and I love being Canadian. Like, I'm always like, we need to see more Canadian flags. Like, I'm a Canadian boy, but the direction our country is heading is not a good place. And what I mean by that is the cost of living's too high. The weather sucks. There's censorship. You can't even go on Instagram and watch BNN and Bloomberg.
Might even be deemed not allowed.
As I say this, so I better get it out quick. But yeah, I just don't think I think Canada's a great country, and it could be even better, but the opportunity has changed versus when our parents were. And even 5 years ago, I think the opportunity has definitely shifted in terms of cost of living. And you're seeing it. You're seeing these lineups at these jobs that pay nothing. They pay $14.50 an hour. Like, they're meant for students.
They just raised minimum wage to 16 something an hour.
Yeah.
What does that translate to?
I think I did the calculation. It's less than $35K a year.
Yeah.
The average rent in Ontario is just under $2,500 a month. The average home is about $830K. The median price of the average home is $830K. So your minimum wage, if you work 40 hours a week for 52 weeks a year, you're making less than $35,000. And everyone thinks if minimum wage goes up, it's so great. But what happens is these companies pass the expense on to the consumer. So you're just paying more money at the end of the day. Mic drop.
Mike, that was dead silent. That was good.
Next topic. Next topic.
Okay. Let's
Okay.
just leave it there.
So young Canadians aren't having kids. Canada's fertility rate is now at a record low of 1.33 children per woman. Canada had one of the highest population growths last year and into this year per the CBC, but 98% of Canada's population growth over last year came from international migration, which is crazy. So young Canadians aren't having families because they can't afford to. With housing costs skyrocketing to 60% or more of income, there isn't much left to raise a family. Not to mention, trying to raise a family in a 500 square foot shoebox isn't ideal. And then I wrote this part. I said, being a youngish millennial in the Toronto area, I hear it all the time. I'd love to be a parent, but I can just barely afford to take care of myself. I know for many people, the solution is, well, just move to Calgary, move to another province. Easier said than done. With long-term friendships, aging parents, familiarity with the area, maybe for many, the idea of having a family just isn't what the future holds.
Yeah. I'm joking. It makes sense because if you look at people our age, it's not even on their radar right now.
Yeah.
And by this age, if you go back a couple generations, you've had 3 kids.
Easily.
Before
you're 30.
Yeah. But it makes sense. Like having a kid, number one, if the woman has to go on mat leave,
yeah.
Okay, and the husband is the sole one working, that's like how to afford your rent, how to afford the basic needs of having a child in this world. Like it's just not affordable.
Your grocery bill is going to go higher.
It makes sense. But I also think aside from the cost of living, it also is our generation. Like it's just our generation, not only the cost of living. I think it's just how millennials are a little bit.
Yeah.
You think it's only the cost of living, which is why it's stopping people from having kids, or people are more like free spirits and not so traditional of, you get married, you have 3 kids, and then you carry on. I think
That's a good point.
Changed, especially in today's world when there's so much going on and everyone's like free spirit and this and this, and the traditional values are not as important to millennials as they were to our parents. So that's my opinion. The cost of living, I think, has definitely put maybe a bit of a slowdown on people wanting to maybe have more kids, knowing how much their first one is. But
I actually think
I don't know if it has the correlation with the cost of living.
Yeah, I think the cost of living is a factor for a lot of people, but I think that you make a great point because there's TikToks and I forget what it's called. It's like dual income, no children or something. And it's like a.
So I was just in Mexico and there was this couple that they were like 32 and 33 or something. And they were like preaching. They're like, we are having no kids. We are having no kids. My parents were like, why? And they were like, we travel the world, blah, blah, blah. And like, it's like, you wouldn't hear that with my parents' generation.
I know.
But now they're like so proud of it.
They are. I think it's called
no kids. And I'm like,
dinks or something.
Yeah.
Is what the terminology is. And it's
said it 100 times. I'm like,
people just go get dogs or something.
You're not having kids. Like, dog moms, dog parents. So I think it has to do with millennials' value system a little bit too.
Maybe valuing traveling more, eating out more,
free spirit, not
going out for drinks, not having to worry. Yeah.
But I'm not discrediting the fact that there are definitely families out there that maybe can't afford to have the mom go on mat leave, or maybe even the cost of daycare. Like, so this new program, the daycare subsidy program, have you heard about that?
I've heard about it, yeah.
So I have a friend that has a daycare downtown Toronto, and she has like people banging down the door, like wanting to get their kids in. She's at capacity. She can't even take anymore. And then we're like, wouldn't it be hurting you with all these other daycares that are cheaper when the parents bring it to them? And then since you're full price, aren't you losing kids? And she goes, no, you have to opt in. And why would I ever opt in?
Interesting.
So it's not like a mandatory thing. It's not like the government is subsidizing it and paying the daycare still. You have to like opt into the program or something.
Cool. I didn't know about that. Yeah.
It made it sound so good.
Yeah.
So they make it look like they're trying, but the cost of daycare, the cost of like diapers and all of that, like,
it's insane.
People pay their rent and have $0.
Yeah, I know.
Literally.
I've got nothing left.
It's
crazy. Yeah.
A kid like that.
I've honestly noticed though, like I'm really big on finding ways to like save money but still have the convenience of stuff. So like going to Costco for me has been a game changer. Like I love it. Like I just look at the prices and I'm like, it's night and day. And like I know when you go there, you spend a lot more money.
Yeah.
But like just as an example, I love Greek yogurt, and it's like 3 Greek yogurts is like $11.99 versus you go to I don't know Sobeys. It's like $7.99 for one. Yeah. So like I'll grab 2 and then fruit and stuff like that. And then I order my meat from a butcher. What? It's literally way cheaper.
Are you so like systemized even in your life?
I don't know. I just am.
But
yeah, if you want to save some money on some meat, you should definitely order from a butcher. It's insane. I can't even believe the difference.
Order your meat from a butcher.
They drop it off to your house. You get to pick it. It's amazing.
Hilarious.
Anyways, just finding little hacks to kind of save money and different things like that. So
yeah.
Anyways, all right, next topic. This episode is brought to you by Landlord. Landlord's an easy-to-use app that is perfect for landlords or property investors. It allows you to track your cash flow or IRR, and there's a suite of other features within the app. You can get started for free down below in the description, and you can even use it as a deal analyzer that will help you make the right decision on your first rental property. We thank you guys so much for the support, and we're so excited that we're partnering with Landlord. Canadian mortgage debt is not good. So Royal Bank of Canada, the largest lender of mortgages in Canada, has said that 43% of its Canadian residential mortgages had an amortization period. So for those that don't know, your amortization period is the length of time it takes to pay your mortgage back. Is greater than 25 years as of July. So that's up 40% from a year earlier and just 26% in January of 2022.
I got a text this morning saying I'm negative 800 on my rental property. I'm not paying down any of my principal. On my renewal, am I going to owe a huge lump sum? And I'm like, oh my God, just if you can afford the 800, just calm down.
Yeah.
Because technically, yes, if you're not paying down any principal, your amortization gets pushed back. On renewal, you're going to have to bring it back to the initial amortization schedule, and you will owe a lump sum. By 2027, I hope that rates will be down and you'll see that equity and have some room to play with or begin paying down principal. But
yeah, I mean, if you are, I was listening to Ron Butler talk about it. He's a mortgage guy, and he was like, if you're going to renew and you're at a 25 AM and you're at 2%, now you're going to 6.5 even. Jesus. Call your bank and say, I want to do a 30-year AM. Just do it.
Just do it.
Weather the storm for now. What are your options? My opinion, your options are to sell at a loss or sell and break even. No. And then what? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to go back out into the market.
Sell at the bottom. People are worried, so they want to sell at the bottom. It's like, ride the damn wave.
These are real estate agents telling you this. Like, we're incentivized to sell your house, and we're telling you not to sell.
Do not sell.
Hang on.
I've told 3 people I've now leased their house because I'm like, you just did all these renovations. You're going to break even because you're too nervous. No. Yeah. You're riding the wave because this rent payment is going to cover the bulk of your mortgage. Cool. You're negative $200. Cool. You're going to make that back in the end. Put that 200 on the end, and you're going to see that in equity. Do not sell at the bottom. It's like putting money in a stock, you losing your money, and then selling to make this much back. Just ride it out.
Especially with, 4% real estate fees, 5% real estate fees, and just sorry.
Right.
What are you going to do? Go buy another house and then you're going to have land transfer, pay another lawyer.
It's all crap right now. It's all bad right now. And it's just,
it sucks.
You can hold on.
Hang
on.
Call your bank, extend that amortization. It's there. I don't agree with it, but it's there.
Call your friends.
Yeah. Call your friends. But it is interesting that 43% of their books had an amortization period longer than 25 years. And it's not like 43% of their outstanding mortgages, right? It's not like everyone just recently took a mortgage. 43% of their customers just took a mortgage recently. Like that's not the.
I chose a 30-year. Why? So people are under the impression I want to pay down my mortgage really quick because I want to be mortgage free. And I'm like, no. Focus on your monthly payment.
Make sure you can afford it. Yeah.
No, yeah. I would choose a longer amortization. So people are like, oh my God, these amortization periods that are 40, 50 years. I'm like, I would choose that if I could. I literally would, because then
gets you into the market. Yeah.
Then my monthly payment is down because I'm living based on in and out monthly. Yes, it's going to take long, but okay, wait. Only if it's a rental property. Because if it just sits there for the next 40 years to pay off, but my monthly payment is way lower, great. In 40 years when I retire, it'll be paid off, and I've lived way better monthly until then.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's and people are like, no, pay it in your mortgage. And I'm like, no.
There is that. What's that hack though? If you do one extra payment a year, it cuts it down by like 10 years. That's a great hack, actually, if you can afford it.
That hack, yes, because it's compounded.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's, that
Paying
is
way
okay.
less interest. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of mortgages don't allow for that because of that reason.
Oh yeah, they won't allow
No,
that.
so it has to be an open mortgage, and if
Which you pay a higher percentage.
you pay a way higher rate. So if I opted in for an open mortgage compared to, and this doesn't mean variable or fixed. Open just means you can pay lump sums of principal at any time, which a lot of mortgages don't allow you to. If it's an open mortgage, you're paying like 9.99% right now, just so you know. So yes, it brings it down 10
like
years.
A B lender.
But you're paying a way higher rate monthly to allow you to pay more that same year to bring it down 10 years in the future. I say, look at your month to month now, live now, figure it out later. Buy now, figure it out later.
Buy now and figure it out later. No.
But that is a good hack if you have an open mortgage, but you will be paying a higher rate. If you do have an open mortgage, most of them are closed. Doesn't allow you to do that. The banks don't want you to pay your mortgage off in 10 years less.
They're in the business of...
They are in the business of making money.
Making money, yeah. They love their interest payments.
Yeah.
And they're loving it even more. They're loving these long amortizations.
Yeah.
They're loving the principal not getting paid down. Why wouldn't they?
Yep.
Okay. Last topic today. Results from Toronto's vacant home tax. Remember this?
Yeah, I saw that, and you know what? It bored me, so I kept scrolling.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good.
Okay.
This is why you got to be on Twitter, because it's quick.
Okay.
Yeah. You like quick because you got ADD. Toronto's home vacant tax so far. So 2,336 properties confirmed vacant and paying the 1% tax. And this is in Toronto, remember. So 2,336, not a lot. But 44,902 failed to declare. So if you fail to declare, they will consider it empty and charge you the same amount, which is 1%. So the gross revenue so far has been $54 million for the city of Toronto.
What does that mean?
What?
What does that mean? Like, translate that. Like, that's craziness. With all these people that are claiming there's nowhere to live, and there's 54 million in revenue from people being charged 1% on their
1%
on their assessed value.
Their assessed value.
Their assessed value.
Not even their market value. Yeah.
Okay, so the difference between assessed value and market value is your assessed value is done by the city, and it's what taxes
what
goes
taxes
off of.
Yeah.
And it's
usually way lower.
Way less. It's like 20% of what market value is. So my house is probably worth 1.2. The assessed value is $400K.
It's probably a little bit more. It's probably like in your 60% or something like that.
Some of them.
It's low. It's low.
It's low.
It's low.
So 54 million in revenue from the assessed value. That's crazy.
So there is some stipulations to the vacant home tax. I bet you there's a lot of people who just forgot to do it. Forgot to fill out the form.
Do they get a 10K fine too?
I actually don't know the answer to that
part
question.
of the revenue?
Yeah.
They probably did it knowing everybody would forget to slap on these fines.
So you have, okay, let's just say you actually do have around 45,000 properties that are vacant in Toronto.
Yeah.
And they're talking about doing this, but in my opinion, you up that tax. You up it to 10%. And I understand that if you buy a home and you want to leave it vacant, you should be able to. But hello, we're in a housing crisis.
What justifies vacant? Because what if somebody has a house here, goes and lives in Florida in the winter and comes back? Like, what is the period of time? Can you leave a house vacant for 6 months? Or
yes, I'm pretty sure you can. Honestly, this was so long ago, I don't have it off the top of my head, like what it means. Yeah. But basically, what I think is it's a cash park from foreign investors. Okay, so this is my understanding of it, okay? So if you are, say you're from China, right? I was speaking to someone, they have a lot of clients from China. If you are from China, you can take out $30,000 from your currency, which is the yen, I believe, and you can bring it into another currency. But if you buy a house, then you can take as much as the house costs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the hack.
So a lot they buy.
And a lot of them don't want to. A lot of them don't want to rent. They don't want people living in their home. Again, this is just what I heard. I don't have any proof of this in my back pocket.
They pay it cash, translate that to Canadian dollars, and then remortgage it. So then now there's a mortgage on it. And now you just got
they might not even
Canadian.
No, they might not even mortgage it. They just want to get their money out of the yen and put it in a more stable currency.
But imagine if you paid the whole house cash to get $1 million in Canadian, but then refinanced it to
and then
have that cash in hand.
Yeah. I mean, you could. You'd just be paying the interest on it. But in my opinion, look, housing, we have a crisis. I understand that if you buy a house, it's your money. You can do what you want with it. But at this point in time, it shouldn't be a cash park for anyone. It should be, these homes are meant to live in. These homes are meant to, put a roof over people's head. And if that's not the case, then we need to slow immigration.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know, but it's just
that's more of like a communism.
It's not.
It's like, no, you can't have more than the next person.
No, it's to incentivize you to, if you want to own it, you have to rent it out.
I don't know if I like that. If I want to keep my house vacant, I can afford a second house.
Yeah.
I want to be able to keep it vacant.
Well, no, if it's a cottage property, it's different. My point is that there shouldn't be foreign investors living in other countries buying housing and parking
investors.
And parking the money here while Canadians or people living here can't afford anything and there's a lack of supply. Okay. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm going to be hated for I agree with the foreign buyers not being able to park their money here. They should be taxed more. But if I buy a second property and I want to keep it vacant, I don't want to not be allowed.
If you're buying a second property in Toronto, like what do you buy? Why? If you're not renting it out, like if you buy a cottage, 100% it can be. You're going to be back.
Okay, I wouldn't buy two houses in the same city and leave one vacant. You're right. I just don't want to be told I can't.
Fair.
I don't like that. I don't like hearing like that would be a law. That's just like you have to rent it out if you have a second property. I don't like that. If you're Canadian, if you're a foreign investor, okay, I get it. Slap on a 10% tax. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I do. Okay.
All right. Deal. Let us know what you guys think in the comments.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
All right. What else is going on?
Oh, did you hear the stat? 77,000 agents in Toronto.
Only
Toronto, 46,000 sales of 2023.
77,000 agents.
46,000 sales.
4,600.
Sorry. Did I say 46,000? 4,600. 4,600 sales in Toronto this year. 77,000 agents. And a lot of agents have done more than one of those
For
sales.
Sure. So it's even less. Like even if you did the math on it, it's even less. How many deals per agent are happening? There's probably so many people leaving the business. I know a recruiter. She said she gets inquiries from realtors a lot for like job opportunities. It's crazy. That's such low sales volume for that many realtors. It's not sustainable.
It isn't. It's sad. It really is.
The cleansing, the purge.
It's the purge.
Yeah.
Why don't you introduce our news?
What news?
Our news. That we're going to be working.
Okay.
Say it.
All right. So after the success of the podcast and you guys supporting us, Brooke and I have decided that we're going to join forces and partner up. And I'm going to come over and kind of help out on the back end.
So now we're not competition.
Now we're not competition. Yeah.
We're working together.
We're going to be working together. So again,
don't forget we're realtors.
Yeah. We're going to plug ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little cringy, but
now it's a 2-for-1. So
yeah, exactly. You're going to get both of us.
You get both of us.
Which is super cool. Like we're super excited.
Yeah.
We're doing this in a tough market. So it'll be a challenge, but it'll be fun. And we're going to stand out more by doing this podcast and giving you guys the best content possible.
Yeah.
And honestly, just getting to know us through the camera. So when you do want to work with us, you know who's coming through the door.
Totally. It helps so much because people feel like they know you.
Before you even show up. Yeah. They're almost like, I don't want to really interview anyone else because I know these people. It's not like a stranger 100%. Walking through your door.
Yeah.
Which has been one of the really awesome things about social media.
Totally.
And this podcast.
Everything comes from social media these days. It's probably why a lot of people are leaving the business. Like the traditional ways of real estate don't work anymore.
It's true. And talking on a camera is not easy.
No.
Coming up with a podcast, sticking to it, being consistent.
Yeah. Thanks to Cortez.
It's fun. It's just, it's not sexy. And it's, good results happen from doing like tedious tasks over and over and over again. And then you kind of get good results. Yeah.
Mic drop.
End the podcast there.
Yeah, so that's our exciting news.
Yeah, those are exciting.
To share with you guys.
Yeah, we're super excited. More to come for sure. Like growing pains.
Reach out to us with questions. Like,
we if you're in Hamilton, Burlington, or Oakville, and you're looking to buy, sell, or lease, like reach out to us, or you want to get a pulse in the market, we'll set up a phone call.
Totally.
With you guys, and just DM us or send us an email. It'll all be in the description down below. Yeah. And if you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, Apple Music, please leave a review. What you think about the show? Leave a comment. I think you can follow too on Spotify. I know that. Started seeing that you can get followers on Spotify, so that's a new thing. And then if you're on Instagram, TikTok, you know where to find us there. We do a lot of shorts, about 5 per week, so that's definitely what kind of gets this podcast rolling is the short form stuff. And we have a newsletter too. So I'll link that down below.
Our newsletter is awesome.
Yeah, it's starting to grow.
Yeah, people rely on our newsletter rather than the news.
I know. When I texted you this morning, I said, I think we're building a media company. We don't even know it.
People rely on it. We get facts.
We get facts. Yeah. All the stories too. Yeah, on Instagram, I'm always posting stories of like the most up-to-date things on Twitter.
Controversial.
Yeah. And I just give a little take sometimes too. But yeah, Brooke loves it.
Yeah, I do love it. I watch my own stories and get
your own podcast stories.
I watch my own podcast stories. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Back to work. All right. Thanks again, guys. We appreciate the support, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Take care.